Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vassell, and welcome to Week in Review. We take a look at all the stuff we did in the Dice Tower over the past week. This is the week directly, last week was the week directly following Dice Tower East, so we didn't do anything for the first couple days of the week, kind of some catch up. Also, Chris and Wendy are out, they're in this video, so we got some stuff done, but let's get started. We're going to kind of give you some thoughts on different videos we did over the week, and then if you want to see the whole video, just click the link in the description. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, I'm Z Garcia. Here's what I reviewed last week. So I did 3 head-to-head games together in a single review with Tom. Check those out. There's varying scores in there. And then I reviewed Ticket to Ride Paris, which I gave a 6 out of 10 to. This is the latest in the Cities collection for Ticket to Ride. These tiny little maps with a very singular, small focus. This one, in many ways, feels even smaller than some of the other small cities. And it is the 6th implementation now of a tiny Ticket to Ride map with a very tiny little twist. In this case, the twist being you collect the colors of the flag, and you can trade in a set of 1 blue, 1 white, and 1 red card that you've used to play routes for 4 victory points. It's something you kind of are going to do anyway. It doesn't feel like much of a drive or much of a choice. Sure, you can, if you're missing one, you can go, oh, I should do this. But it's painfully obvious. I didn't think it added too much to the formula, and I certainly recommend it if you love Paris, grew up in Paris, or it's going to give you fond memories. Otherwise, any one of the other ones is maybe a little bit more strong as far as mechanics, or interest goes. I reviewed Cities, which I give a 7 out of 10 to. This is an interesting tile laying game in which you're going to be gathering scoring opportunities. You are building up this 3x3 grid in front of you, and you are trying to have various draftings that you are doing coalesce into something that makes sense. It is not much of a looker, in my opinion. I think it's a bit of a drab game. The title is a bit drab. The title of the game, Cities, is sort of by the numbers. But the gameplay is interesting. I enjoy playing it. It's one that I'm happy to get down to the table and give it a go. I thought it was a little bit long. I thought it lacked a little pizzazz. It's a workman-like kind of game. But I think it's one that a lot of people seem to be enjoying, and I'm happy to sit down and play it. Maybe even teach it to folks that aren't playing too many different games yet. This could be a good one to introduce to them some new ideas. And then lastly, I reviewed Captain Flip, which I gave a 7.5 out of 10 to. I like the simplicity of this one, but it's got some nice aha moments, which I'm always looking for in games. The idea of pulling a tile from a bag, looking at that side, it's a pirate with some ability, and then going, okay, yeah, I can utilize this, or I can flip it over and see what's on the other side. It'll be a different pirate out of 6 or 7 different ones. Once I've flipped it over, though, I cannot change my mind and go back to the first side. That little decision right there is very interesting. It's very engaging and enjoyable. The game is 15 minutes or so. It's incredibly quick. Has a vibrant look. It is everything that that Cities is not. It has personality. It has its own pizzazz. It has its own feel. The game is very light. It's much lighter than Cities that I just talked about. But it has something that makes me want to reach for it on the shelf. You know, it's a fun one. I think that's what it is. It's fun. It's vibrant. And while it's a game that I think in a couple of years folks will probably forget about because it is light and not particularly, complex, strategically minded, I think it's one that a lot of people should try, and certainly in families, which is what the game is going for, is going to have quite a bit of success. So that is Captain Flip, 7.5 out of 10 for me. And that's it, folks. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.
Weekend review time. This week I took a look at one game, and that is Drop Drive. This is a game that I gave a 7.5. Basically, you're going to be dropping all of these resources and things out on the board, and then using kind of like a little movement template to move your little ship around, trying to pick up and deliver to these different planets. You can also like jump drive, spinning fuel to be able to just drop your ships in other areas. I found this game extremely enjoyable. I thought it was a lot of fun. I could see people being mixed up with all of the dexterity elements, but I love dexterity in games, and I love the space theme. I love all the sci-fi stuff or the science futurism stuff that they put into the game for such a silly game. It was cool to see that stuff in there as well. But yeah, check out mine and Wendy's review for that, and that was Drop Drive. Anyway, that was been my week.
Hey guys, this week I took a look at 2 games. First up was Captain Flip, which I came in at a 5 on. This one just really fell flat to me. It's a short kind of filler or family weight game, but about halfway through I was just done. The decisions didn't really interest me. It seemed really random on what you pull out of the bag, and then you have the decision of do you want to take the side that you see or flip it over and take the other one, which then you're stuck with. That seems like it should be enough to hold the attention, but it just didn't. About halfway through the game, I was just like, all right, it just felt random after random, and I didn't really care to go back to it. So Captain Flip is one that I could see myself maybe giving to people that really aren't gamers, it being kind of that filler game for some families, like a family activity night, but my personal taste, it just felt pretty flat, and not just because it's light, just flat. So for me, Captain Flip was a 5. Also took a look at the new Devere game, Cities, which I came in at a 7.5 on. I was engaged this entire game. I really love drafting as a mechanism, and I thought this was interesting where you have the 4 different rows that you're going to draft from. Each time you have to take a tile, you have to take some buildings, you have to take a scoring card, and you have to take a feature. That's what it is. Whew, I pulled that one out. So you have to take a feature as well. But the decision and the interesting scope of it comes from when you're taking from where. So immediately you have to look at the board and decide what you absolutely want, what's worth holding off a little bit on. At some point there might be one of those rows that everyone's taken from, so you already know what you're getting, so you can just save that for your last move. It really interesting as you're building up the actual city, and you have these end game scoring as well as you're building every round your own end game scoring. A couple things that held me back was the scoring. When you actually finally got to it, there was so much scoring to it. You end up with 8 different cards. Some of those conflict in their scoring, so it can be kind of not confusing, but it can feel unfulfilling when they are in opposition, those scoring, so you don't really know what to go for. You feel a little directionless, or you just feel like you're min-maxing. Well, this scoring opportunity will get me 7 points, and this one will only give me 3, so I'll go for that one, or this one only gets me 5, unless I do couple it with this one. So it just got a little min-maxy towards the end, and the scoring felt flat, as well as it did overstay its welcome just a little bit. It was 8 rounds. I wish it was 6. At 6, I feel comfortable with what I've built. But that being said, really enjoyed the drafting aspects of it, and was very happy to return to it. So Cities is a 7.5 for me. Let's keep going.
Hey everybody, I'm Joey Evans, and here's what I reviewed this week. This week I took a look at Cities, which is a city building game by Devere. It's very simple, it's straightforward. I enjoyed this. It's a great gateway game. I gave this an 8. I also took a look at Dedalo. I think I pronounced that right, but it's a labyrinth building game, about 30 minutes for 3 to 6 players with a Minotaur, and it's a very mean game, but it's actually quick, so it actually worked for some reason, so I gave that an 8 as well. I also took a look at Rolling Realms expansions, 5 of them. I'm going to start trying to dive into those to see which ones are great, and I kind of ranked them in the 5 of where I liked which ones. So those are the 3 things I reviewed this week.
Hi, I'm Wendy Yee, and I have 2 games this week that I was in the reviews for. The first one is Drop Drive. Now, I gave this a 7. This is a dexterity / you drop all the pieces on a map and you run around and you pick up and deliver stuff. I think that it's a good game, and I think that I enjoy it the most because of the anomalies that are in there. So as you're flying around, you're activating these anomalies, and they change the state of the board. You can also you choose beforehand whether you want a big permanent change, or you want something little, like a little reward, a little bonus, or a little event that happens. But I enjoy that. I also enjoy the planets and how the resources that they aren't the resources of the planet color are not necessarily the resources that they want, because they obviously have enough. So I think there's some cool things going on. I enjoy the player interaction. You can choose to be a little fighty and aggressive, but you don't do a lot of damage, or you could choose to be very, mild and just pick up and deliver and hold a whole lot. So I think there's some good balance stuff there. I think it's just overall a fun game. The next one is Ezra and Nehemiah. This is a Shem, Felix, Sam McDonald's team up again, but I feel like this one has gotten lighter than South Tigris, the South Tigris games that they've played or made. And I enjoy that because I feel like they were getting really thinky and a lot involved and just like they were going into all these mechanics, which I enjoyed. But it's nice to kind of step back and feel like it's a little bit more clean. Sometimes adding more mechanisms or deeper thinkingness doesn't necessarily make a better game. And so I think stepping back, I really enjoy this. I'm going to give this an 8.5. I think that there's some solidness to it. And honestly, I could see this one going up in score for me the more I play, which I think is cool. So I love the emptying out of the walls, like the removing the rubble and then the building them up. I enjoy the different flags that you have to have, and you're kind of building up that board in front of you. And you're always debating, do I want to add more to my permanent flags and end game score? You know, you're scoring and that kind of stuff. Do I want to do that, or do I want to play that card as one of my first cards and get some good stuff from the get-go, build that good flag engine initially? So I think that there's a lot fun stuff going on there. Go ahead and check out that review. So there you go. Thanks for joining me today. Let's go ahead and see who's next.
All right, well, if you missed it, Jeff did his top 100 games of all time, Jeff Knapp. And so those went up at the very beginning of the week, as well as our final plays from the Summer Spectacular. So I played Age of Angra, a two-player fighting style game. So you can check that out. That happened on Tuesday. And then I reviewed Captain Flip. I like this one. It's a very light game, simple to play, easy to jump into, 7 out of 10. And Cities, really like this one from DeVere, a drafting game from Phil Walker Harding and Dr. Stephen Finn. Great game, so simple and easy to play. It could probably look a little better, but I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this one. That was an 8 out of 10. We did the next episode of our role-playing game. If you never watched our role-playing game, it's a lot of fun, so check that out. Also, you can download it as a podcast. Z and I did a video where we took a look at the most played games at Dice Tower East. So the stats are very, very interesting, so that's fun. I did 43 reviews of games, mini reviews in 15 minutes, so just a whole pile of things to look at. Z and I took a look at 3 different back and forth games, Tether, Confusing Lands, and Sirens. One of them better than the other two, for me anyway. I reviewed Gnome Hollow. I gave this one an 8, a nice kind of game from the op that about building these fairy rings and collecting mushrooms, turning them in. There's a lot of cool things going on and some really nice components. And that's basically what I reviewed this past week. I got a lot coming this week, but we'll wait to get to that for a few more minutes. Until then, I'm Tom Vassell, and you've been watching Week in Review on the Dice Tower.
Hey folks, thanks for joining us for that video. If you haven't yet, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hey, make sure you check out what's happening, where I'll cover an app on an iOS or a Switch device, and you can check it out along with me. Thanks very much. You've been watching The Dice Tower.